can learn from what works, we'll scale it, and we will share the results with our taxpayers and with the legislature. And again, I can't emphasize this enough to the public. We want to hear your voices. You will see these, you've already seen these popping up, these customer service QR codes. You see them at state parks, you see them at the DMV, you see them in all of our state offices, so that everyone gets an opportunity to provide feedback with every single interaction that they make. They're on our websites. If something doesn't work, we want to hear from you. Conversely, if something actually does work and it's going well, we want that feedback also. That's incredibly helpful for us. So grit it's not just about fixing systems, although it is about fixing systems. It's also about building a culture where every public servant is empowered to actually solve problems, and every taxpayer is empowered to get results. We are builders, and we are trying to create a culture of building within state government. We're counting on to our public employees out there. This is Public Employee Appreciation Week, and we appreciate you so much. We're counting on you to help us. This needs to be a bottom-up approach, not just a top-down approach, because that's where the real work happens, and we understand that. You get to see it every day, and I want you to question often, why are we doing this? And maybe the answer is it's the best way to do it, but it's worth asking that question and re-asking that question. If the answer is just that's the way we've always done it, that's not a satisfactory answer. And so if you have ideas on ways to make those improvements, please let us know. You know better than anybody else what's working and what is not working, and you're getting constant feedback, immediate feedback from the people that you're on the phone with or the people that you're talking to across the desk. To our residents, we want you to know that you deserve a government that listens, adapts, and delivers, and that is truly the promise of grit. That's the promise of our administration, and that's what we are here to do together. So in a few minutes, I'm actually going to sign an executive order for all of our team that outlines this process, what we're expecting, the time frames, how that feedback is going to work. But for right now, I would love to turn the microphone over to Sophia DeCaro from the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget, who's going to talk a little bit more about the GRIT initiative. So, Sophia.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here today. We are excited about launching this GRIT initiative and partnering with state employees on this initiative. This is an opportunity for us to highlight the great work that our state has been doing and to improve how we serve Utahns. With programs like the Customer Experience Initiative, these past 4 years, our state government has made significant progress across every state agency to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of our workflows. And I just want to highlight that every single state agency led by the leadership of our cabinet here has taken on a customer experience initiative to make it our services better for our citizens and the people who use state government. And so, for example, we've reduced wait times at the DMV for walk-in appointments to 10 minutes or less. Everybody's excited about that, right? Everyone likes to talk about DMV. And it's even less if you schedule an appointment ahead of time. That's an example of one of the many examples we have. Another one is our Utah National Guard to address concerns regarding retention and recruitment. Utah National Guard work with our customer experience team to create pathways for service members to voice concerns and to receive actionable support by our state government. And these efforts, paired with the tuition assistance and retention and recruitment bonuses that the legislature appropriated, they're already impacting what we're able to do for recruitment and retention for the Utah National Guard and the members that we're able to recruit. But in short, we're working to strengthen retention all around and to improve the quality of life for our service members. And beyond customer experience, we're proactively standardized and creating innovative ways to improve cost savings, time savings, and trim down efficiencies within state agencies. UDOT is another example where we were able to save more than 6,000 hours of labor and more than $300,000 annually through their Keeping Utah Beautiful program. By enabling citizens to participate in active roadway cleanup events, our UDOT team has proactively created a way to save time and money while still improving the experience that we have on our roads. Our joint collaboration with the legislature has also allowed us to work hands-on with agencies to improve internal efficiencies. We have a process, and that is unique to Utah, by the way, where we have an efficiency path of making government better, where we're doing that in collaboration with the legislature and with our agencies, as the governor mentioned, from the bottom-up approach. This is really a way to work not only outside in by getting feedback from all of our citizens, but also inside out with our state employees and with our legislature. They have a process, our appropriations process, and this is the way the executive branch is also looking to improve things for the state of Utah. But this is only the beginning. This GRIT initiative is going to enable us to wrap all of this under an umbrella and make a really meaningful difference. And I just want to acknowledge the leadership of our Lieutenant Governor as well. She is part of our budget process and also helps us evaluate every single request that comes forward and is actively involved in all of the great things that we're doing here. I touched on a few examples from our state agencies, but I encourage you to ask them about even more. We have countless things that we're doing and countless examples, too many to list here today, but our cabinet's here and can walk you through a lot of the great things that they have going on. But we look forward to launching this GRIT initiative and working collaboratively with the citizens out there. And again, yes, we want to hear from you. We want to know how to make things better. This is your money, your investment, and you should expect the best from us, and that's what we're prepared to deliver. Thank you.
Thanks, Sophia. All right. Well, let's go ahead and, by the way, I'll take questions in just a second, so don't get nervous. We're going to sign this executive order and make it official. All right, I'm going to ask the Lieutenant Governor if she will sign as well. All right, there we go. Thanks, everyone. All right, with that, we may have some questions. Please, Ben.
So this is basically your version of Doge?
So, yeah, great question, Ben. That's the short answer is yes, but there is a longer answer to that I think is really important. Doge is awesome, and I desperately want Doge to work. We have a bloated federal government that is a disaster. We've been begging for something like Doge for decades, and I'm so excited that it is actually happening. Let me be very clear to people that are watching this. We do Doge like 6 times a year in this state every single year. We Doge the hell out of our budget every single year. We were Doge before Doge was a thing. We were Doge when it wasn't cool, and we will be Doge long after it is cool. Let me walk you through a little bit about how this budget process works every year. We ask this team months in advance to start preparing. Right after the new budget starts in July, they are working on next year's budget. They gather all of their information and they make the first set of cuts. And then they come and they present to the Lieutenant Governor and to Sophia and her team, and they make another significant series of cuts. And then they bring all of that to me, and I make another significant series of cuts. We're talking hundreds of FTEs that are desperately needed, and everybody believes strongly, by the time it gets to me, that every one of these new positions or these new programs or these dollars are absolutely necessary for our state, and we say no to the majority of them. And then from there, now that's just the beginning. We now take that up to the committees. And the committee chairs go through a process looking at every single line item, every single year. Those committees then make another layer of cuts and prioritize everything that they think, these are legislative committees, that they think are important to our state, and then they take that and they submit it to the executive team upstairs, and that the EAC, the Executive Appropriations Committee, then they go through and prioritize and make another series of cuts looking at every single line item, and then that budget eventually gets passed, gets brought back to me. I have an opportunity to go through and make additional line item cuts if I want to, and then a budget is passed. And that's not even all of it. All right? Because the other thing that happens is we have legislative auditors, and every year the legislative auditors pick several of these departments and agencies, and they go in and do thorough audits. I mean, this is like going to get your physical exam when you're 50, as someone who has been through that recently. They look through everything, and then they give us a series of reports, and then we go and fix everything they found that is broken or going wrong, and we report back to them that we get that done, and that is all transparent. And then we're still not done because we have a state auditor who does the same thing, and we work with them to go through that process. So we do about 10 things every year that the federal government hasn't done in about 50 years. And so that's why I hesitate a little bit to just say this is our version of DOGE, but it is. And here's the other piece of this, though. It's not just about slashing waste and fraud and abuse. It's about all of that. And we are going to do that, and we will constantly be doing that, as I've already mentioned. By the way, I heard this cool thing that DOGE was doing. They were going through and looking at every landline telephone that was still connected. They were going through and looking at internet connections that nobody was using, and they were going to save tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars by going through and auditing all of those things and getting rid of them. And I said, my gosh, we should do this. That's a great idea. We need to go back and see how many of these connections that we're paying for that we shouldn't be paying for. And I'm sure we could save tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I went to our team and they said, yeah, we've done it 3 times in the last 5 years, and we're happy to do it again. But that's what we do. So it's more than that. It's also about improving outcomes. You see, one of the concerns I have about DOGE is that there's slashing going on, which we've desperately needed, but unfortunately they're not looking at outcomes. And sometimes you slash something and the thing gets worse, right? We want to make things more efficient, and so some of that is cutting time, right? Cutting wait times, processing things more quickly. Sometimes you actually have to add people to get the right outcome. You'll find that that's a piece as well. So it's about making sure that the taxpayer dollars are being spent in the most efficient way. Sometimes that means cutting, sometimes that means increasing or moving from one program to another, finding a program that's not working and moving that to a program that is working. So this is, I would like to say this is the thinking man's DOGE. Yeah.
Does this mean layoffs then for state employees?
So we're not looking at mass layoffs. That's not what this is about at all. There may be some changes that happen. And look, I like to point this out. If you look at federal employment and not just the federal employees, you have to look at the contractors as well to see that number and how it's increased over time. We have not seen that. We've had a 48% increase in our population over the last 20 years. And only a 7% increase in our employees. So again, because of our caution, because we cut FTEs every single year, we are running as bare bones as you possibly can in a state government. Again, we are the most efficient state government. And so I'm not out there looking to just cut a whole bunch of jobs. Now, we may need to move some people in some other ways that will be better, where we find better, again, better processes, better ways to do these types of things, better way to deliver services. But this is, that's another thing that's different from this piece. We're trying to empower our employees to make things better. Not trying to make our employees scared of their jobs. It's we have the best state employees in any state in the nation, and we want them to leave this initiative feeling actually empowered, that they get to do their jobs even better than they were doing them before. Please.
As far as the budget process, you know, the public has your proposals. They can watch the appropriations process through the legislature. How can the public track what's happening as part of the initiative?
Yes, so we will be standing up dashboards that talk, so we're able to share with the public everything, the different projects, what they look like, how much money we've been able to save, how much time we've been able to shave off. We're hoping, again, with the customer service feedback, we'll see those customer service ratings go up. So, you know, we move from a 4-star to a 5-star, or a 1-star to a 3-star, whatever the equivalent of that is, with our dashboards and with the customer service feedback. We appreciate the legislature's willingness to fund our customer service initiative so that we can keep moving this forward. And those are the types of metrics that we'll be sharing and that will be very publicly available for the press and for the people that we serve.
Governor, do you have a stated goal of how much you would like to, how much taxpayer money you'd like to?
So we purposely did not set that out because we want all of them. We'll eventually get to a goal, but I want to hear the best ideas, and we're really pushing them. We want this to be uncomfortable for the people standing behind me, and that's how you sharpen the saw, right? That's how you, whatever metaphor you want to use, it has to be uncomfortable. We've done all the low-hanging fruit. That's the difference between this and DOGE as well. Like with DOGE, there's so much low-hanging fruit. I mean, we can find $1 billion here, $1 billion there. It's going to be harder for us, for sure, but we know it can be done. And so it's, and to me, it's also about saving money in one area, and then I mean, give that back to the legislature. We're great with that. But also, are there other areas where things are working really well? And if we could double our effort in that space, that will be money better spent. And that's ultimately, I think, what people want. Look, one of the ways we DOGE is by cutting taxes. And we've done that again this year. We're now at $1.4 billion in 5 legislative sessions. Again, I'll just remind you, the largest tax cut by any administration in our state's history was about $240 million. So we're now 5 times the largest tax cut in our state's history. That means they have to do more with less. So that's how we hold ourselves accountable, and the legislature helps to hold us accountable as well. Please.
Just to follow up on my
Yeah.
last question, you mentioned the dashboards and customer service ratings being on those. Will those dashboards include a central place where people can track the exact changes happening under grid?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yep. We'll have a centralized location on GOPB's website that puts all of that together.
To what extent has your office already identified changes that you'd like to make?
Yeah, so the process is just starting. We unveiled this to all of them just about a week ago. Yeah. So it's they've all been hard at it for a week, and this is not something where, like, hey, we've already done the work, now let's put something glitz on it, and then ta-da, it just happened. It's not like that at all. This really is sharpening our pencils, everybody going back and getting to work. Yeah, please.
So you've done this, or you've launched this. What does this mean in terms of, I think of social services.
Sure,
Which has
yeah.
seen a lot of scrutiny in the federal level with DOGE.
Yeah.
Does this mean that will people see reductions in the services that they can expect from the state,
Yep.
particularly when it comes to social services?
No, so Ben, again, it's not reducing services, it's improving services. So ultimately what I would like to see is, for example, we have waiting lists in social services in some areas, people that qualify for help but can't get it because we don't have enough funding. Well, there's 2 ways to help get people off of those social services lists, right? We can we can increase funding, which the legislature can do that, can only do that. That's their job, right? Or we can find savings in other places where again, it's not that efficient, and move it to places where we can help get people off of those waiting lists. And so that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is not to just cut back what's already working and helping people. It's so we can help people more and fill some of those gaps that are already out there and broken.
Some of the cuts DOJ has made has been in efforts that both the federal government and states work together on. And so as part of RIT and making sure things work efficiently, will this also be the state looking at how it can respond to DOJ's cuts?
Yeah. We're going to have to look at how we respond in those areas. I'll be clear again. This is an effort with our legislators, and I wish they would accept my budget every year. I wish I just got to magically wave a wand and make it happen. It would be a lot easier for sure. And but that's not how the system works. And so they are going to have to make those decisions. If there is a cut in something that is important to Utahns, then Utah's representatives will have to make that decision if that's something they want to keep up. I will say one of the proposals that we have made, and this is a bipartisan proposal. I'm still on the executive board of the National Governors Association. We've pushed this to, and we brought it up to the White House multiple times. And that is, look, in many of these areas where the federal government is spending so much money right now, you could block grant those funds to the state with a significant cut, and we can make them go further. So we can do more of what they're trying to do with less money. It's a win-win. Taxpayers save money, and we're not borrowing against our kids' future, and we're still delivering the service, only in a better way. And it's fun to have blue state governors who support that, and red state governors as well. Department of Education is a great example of that, where there's bipartisan support to do more of that. You see it, we do some of that block granting with the transportation funds already, which works very, very well. It's why we're able to maintain such a great system. They've realized, oh yeah, the states can do this better if we just give them the money and let them do it. But there are lots of others as well. I think social services is another great example. Get rid of some of the red tape and the bureaucracy at the federal level, and save money and get better outcomes. Okay. Again, thanks everyone for being here. Thanks to my team back here. We've got a lot of work to do, but we will look forward to sharing those results with you soon. Thanks everyone. Go back. No going back, everybody. So, thanks, you guys. Thanks for being here and supporting us. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for all the feedback on the name. I caved, so you guys are awesome. Thank you. Thanks, you guys.
It's got a little less.
Can you send me, yeah, I know what the constitutional contributions are, but I just think that I want to Yes.